Mining is a very dynamic environment. Keeping our workforce safe is our #1 concern. And we need to do it to look after our people, but not only our people, the contractors that work with us and support us as well.
Some of the key challenges being an open cut mine is vehicle interaction. We did implement vehicle hierarchy back in March 2023 as a control measure to help manage vehicle interactions.
It's definitely a focus for us to keep things simple, and where we can, we try and integrate things with purchasing off the shelf rather than building ourselves. So the first thing that we really did was implement the OAS system, which is an operator alertness system. And then once that was implemented, we then went and implemented our collision awareness systems. The largest benefit of that has come to operators contextualising their environment. So before we even get to alarms, giving operators a map that shows them other vehicle and their position relative to the ego vehicle is 90% of the benefit. And then on top of that, it's further enhanced with alarming and alerting capability.
The feedback and acceptance and uptake of those two systems on site has been amazing. It improved the positive communication on site because people knew exactly how far they were, and also then you've got your alarms for inside that area as well.
I love the OAS system. It's really good, really effective. Night shift is always imperative that you stay awake as well, so yeah, it's a really, really good tool to have in the truck.
The CAS system, it's a necessary item in the trucks. I'm always monitoring, especially sitting on the dig floors when you've got high activity. You can see what's going on. Yeah, really good for the blind spots.
Whenever you're doing something new, it's tricky because you're learning at the same time. But by the time we evolved out of the OAS CAS workpiece and went in to integrate the two of them, it was just a smooth, flawless journey. We were aiming for 500 hours of operation for that field trial, and we ended up achieving 10,000. Through the integration of OAS and CAS, we've learned some things about our operations.
We've got a lot of data now. That's the integration part, that's done. And now how do we move forward with the data? How do we use data? How do we make our mines more safer? There are a couple of steps already taken through site. So site is reviewing those footages, and for example, they are enforcing speed limits in go lines. So these are the things that we need to look at from now on.
What it really does is it really lets us quite quickly review a whole lot of CAS alarms with the extra context as to what was occurring at that point in time. And when we're reviewing a day's worth of CAS events or a week's worth of CAS events, or CAS events in a certain region of the mine, that's where it becomes extremely valuable. So we've been able to verify that alarms are going off on our haul roads past parked up equipment as they're coming out of their park ups. We've been able to verify a number of alarms are as per our operating procedures, and we've also been able to then tune our CAS alarms. Really, it's a pursuit of contextual information. If we have an incident and that equipment has got OAS fitted to it anyway, by the time the supervisor comes back to the office, which might be 20 minutes, we can have that OAS footage downloaded, ready for that supervisor to replay and understand what happened. I couldn't have asked for a better partner to work with, really how smooth it was. We really appreciate working with Hexagon on this integration.
Whitehaven's not shy of introducing something new, being advantageous and taking on a new challenge, and we always strive to be the best that we can as a business, and it does show that in our results.
All right, mic check. Well, introduction. So nice to meet you all. Appreciate your time today, and I really hope that you can take this time to have a bit of a stop and think and learn a few things from the relationship that Whitehaven has built with Hexagon. I'm John Cass. I'm the Operational Technology Manager for Whitehaven Coal. I'm really passionate about people using technology to increase operational safety, efficiency and performance. Over to you, Adrian, if you want to introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good arvo. I'm still working on my Australian. I'm with Hexagon, based out of Vancouver, Canada. I'm the Senior Product Manager. I have a background in mining, started as a mining engineer, but I've been in ops, I've driven haul trucks, and for the past 8 or 9 years, I've been solely focused on technology and how that can drive our industry forward. And this has been a real privilege working with John and the team and over the past 18 months, and I think we've done some pretty cool things we're excited to share with you today.
You take the lead. Take this one.
Yeah, I'm going to tell a little bit of a story. It's going to be a little fluffy, and then John will make it a little bit more real, a little bit more tangible, tell you exactly what they actually did with this information. But it's a pretty proud moment for me, I have to say. As I said, I've been in the technology space for about 8 or 9 years, and before I joined Hexagon, which was just under 2 years ago, I worked at Teck Resources, a major Canadian mining company. And we tried to do the same thing that John and the Whitehaven team have accomplished. As in, we tried to collect all of the data coming from our different systems, understand the risks and what was actually happening on site, and then do something about it to reduce the risk of unsafe vehicle interactions. We spent several years and we took the angle of advanced analytics. We pulled data from a bunch of places, including the Hexagon collision avoidance system, and we had all these fancy tools and widgets, and I could tell you at any point in time where all of our vehicles were, the heavy vehicle and the light vehicle traffic densities and flow of traffic, and I could point to every single intersection we had at every single one of our mines globally and tell you which one was the highest risk. But I couldn't tell you why. We didn't know what to actually do with that information. And this is the context that we've been able to provide with this integration now, because they say, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, so what's a video worth? And with these videos of these events, the Whitehaven team, immediately, just in a few months of having this new integration, have been making some pretty drastic changes, and I think hopefully reducing the risk and preventing these incidents from happening again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I need to provide some recognition and some background context as well. So I think it was the 6th of December 2021, we actually had a dangerous incident occur at our Maules Creek operation. In that dangerous incident, we had a haul truck travelling at speed around a corner, taking a left-hand left-hand turn, and it didn't actually see a light vehicle that was stopped at an intersection. The windrow was a bit too high, and we actually, fantastically enough, we used the OAS system to actually confirm that visibility was lacking in that circumstance. As a result of that, Whitehaven proposed to the New South Wales Resource Regulator an enforceable undertaking. And that enforceable undertaking included 3 projects to benefit the industry, of which this is one of the 3 that we're talking about today. So I want to acknowledge that occurred. That was a driving force that we used for this partnership. But what that actually gave us a bit of leg room to advise Hexagon up front, hey, we're looking at doing this, can we do a collaboration to integrate these 2 systems? We've got OAS, and OAS has done some great work for us, great work for the industry. It's helped us understand fatigue and distraction events out in the field, and it's sort of become a safety net for those distractions. We'd also recently implemented the collision awareness system at Tarrawonga. And out of the collision awareness system, we had a number of learnings. So it wasn't a flawless journey. But what we built through that journey was a relationship of resilience and commitment by both parties to resolve those issues that we encountered. You know, we had some installations that were lacking in quality. So both sides pitched in and said, okay, where is our quality process? Where's our review process? Why isn't that working? And we worked together to resolve it. So by the time we came to do this integration, we had a bit of headroom to say, hey, we're looking at doing this in the next sort of 2 years. would you be interested in partnering with us on that venture, which they were, which was fantastic. But we'd also built that relationship where we knew there was going to be issues. We knew there would be spikes in the road where things would get tough and we'd have to come together to work it out. Then the interesting part was when the integration actually hit the road, there wasn't that many bumps. You know, like we were aiming for that 500 hours of operation. We were aiming for, okay, we'll have to roll it out to a few units, field test it, see how that goes, do a couple of rounds of fixing bugs back and forth. But actually, when we went to push it out, it surprisingly, it doesn't happen often in the technology space, but it actually worked. So I want to also give credit to all the people at the site within our operations that helped this succeed, all the people at Hexagon, all the developers that are often back of house and don't get these opportunities to stand forward. And just acknowledge that it wasn't just a few people doing it. There was actually lots of people working together to make this happen. Oh, sorry, was that our learning slide? I'm a slide out, so apologies for that. Whitehaven learnings. Let's talk about learnings for a little bit. Hands up in the room who has implemented a collision awareness system or seen a collision awareness system implemented in a mining context. Lots of us, right? And hands up, who's been overwhelmed with the number of alarms that you see that are occurring out in the paddock, even once these systems are configured? Like, yeah, hell yeah. It was, but we're still operating out there safely. You know, we're not having huge volumes of incidents. So that's an interesting point to be at, where you've got a system, it's been implemented, it's showing you that there is lots of alarms, lots of interactions. Well, we always knew there was lots of interactions. But how do we actually go the next step to validate, is that in line with operating procedures? Was that an unsafe event or was that a safe event? And that's really what the integration gives us. So how the integration works, I'll go into some detail there. But the CAS unit triggers a onboard alert, a collision warning. When the system triggers that, the back end actually goes across to the OAS system and says, I had an event at this time, can you get me the footage for it? So that means when we come to review our CAS alarms now, we're not just reviewing data that says machine class, speed, proximity, and perhaps some location, but we actually get to the opportunity to click on that event and see what has occurred. And in those videos that we just put up, which is only a very few snippets of the examples, but some great learnings from it. So one, we had trucks coming in on the dig floor too fast, and they were actually getting a collision warning with the excavator that was on the bench, right? So there's one, perhaps we were operating too fast in that area or proximity to the vehicle. The second one was coming into a park-up area. Now, at that point, we were still going with base configurations for a lot of our CAS events. We actually hadn't disabled all alarms in our park-up areas, but as a result of that, we've decided to turn off those alarms because the equipment operators are coming into an area, they know there's going to be high levels of interaction. So they shouldn't really need a beep when they know they're coming into that park-up area. The third one, which is really interesting, is when you see the heavy vehicles come together with the light vehicles at an intersection, and you go, wow, if I didn't have the video context of that, I would probably just be concerned when I'm looking at speed and proximity of those two vehicles together. But when you look at the video and you see it's at a well-formed intersection, the light vehicle stops, it's all as per our procedures, while now we quite simply can relax, right? That is a controlled interaction and our controls are working. So there's huge learnings that have come from that, really being able to contextualise the hundreds of alarms that we are receiving from our collision awareness systems.
I don't think this is a controversial statement to anybody here, but partnership and collaboration between the technology providers and the operators really is needed, required, to bring innovative new technologies to our industry. I don't think anybody would argue with me on that, but I'd be happy to. And from the perspective of a technology vendor, just building the feature is not enough. And to give you a little bit of insight into this partnership that we've had over the past 18 months, how much of that time do you think we were actively developing? We had our engineers, our developers, working on building the integration and testing it. Out of 18 months, 4 months. Less than a quarter of the overall engagement was actively building the feature. The rest of the time was working together to make sure that we had a good plan, that we actually piloted and tested and had a very structured rollout. And what I really appreciated from the Whitehaven team is they came to us early, right? They said, hey, would you like to work together on this? Would you like to partner with us? Because we think we can do something special here. And my favorite part of my job is these conversations with customers globally. They happen all the time. Hundreds, thousands of times a year, customers have these incredible ideas. But usually the conversation goes, I have this idea, when can you have it done? And the approach that we need to take is this collaboration, which I genuinely appreciate. I think it's why this has been so successful, is because the Whitehaven team came to us and said, from day one, let's collaborate, let's partner to do something for the industry.
I think collaboration is definitely a key point to why we're here talking today. And initially, any relationship you have, it's always like there's always that transaction that forms the basis for the partnership. There is always a transaction, and that transaction really needs to create value on both sides of the fence. But once you move past transaction and you actually form a collaborative relationship, I sometimes think, maybe my wife thinks I could be more collaborative and less transactional, but it's like, you put coins into the jar, right? But when you do that with a vendor, it's different. You transform the relationship, you transform the levels of trust to overcome the gaps. You actually spend the time working together ahead of the rollout to make sure that it's going to work, to make sure that the concerns have been listened to. And I think that collaboration, the resilience was built during the OAS and the CAS deployments. That started the collaboration. The collaboration then extended through. So Hexagon are a key part of the risk assessment process. They're a key part of the change management process. They're there with us as we talk to the workforce about how this technology is going to change, what we are actually working on in this space. The risk assessments, when we go and modify an alarm parameter, Hexagon are there with their advice. And they have their standard configurations, but they're not there to just advise. They're there to listen and learn as well. And that is the true collaboration that we're seeing today. There is lots of technology stands here. There's lots of technologists such as myself, but true change is beyond technology, and true partnership starts with people. So yeah, I can't thank Hexagon enough for where we have taken this, and it's not something that we just do with Hexagon, it's something that we really try to do with everyone that we work with, right? We need to change the way we integrate with our suppliers, and we need to make sure that partnership delivers value for both sides.
Just some closing statements here. We came to the table in the very beginning saying, let's do this together, but let's do it for the whole industry. And we're excited that Whitehaven, of course, was the first customer, but now we're getting some traction across the industry. A lot of our existing CAS and OAS customers starting to turn on this integration. And I think we're going to see some pretty cool transformations within the industry.
Yeah, so it was easy, the first step of the integration. All your heavy equipment, it's got OAS fitted. Where we're really looking now is to extend that through use of the light vehicle kits to improve our context around fit a light vehicle kit to a dozer and see how the interaction looks from that point of view. Fit the light vehicle kit to the excavator, and now we start tuning parameters and alarms across our entire mining fleet.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you again to the Whitehaven team, a few more in the crowd here, and we're looking forward to continuing this work.
Excellent. Thanks.